Hello guys, welcome back to IB Psychology. Today we're going to be tackling the topic of ethical considerations when conducting psychological research. My name is Min from EdEquity, and let's dive into this topic. So before we discuss the several types of ethical considerations, we must first define ethical consideration. So what are ethical considerations? Ethical considerations are basically the correct rules of conduct which is necessary when carrying out research. This is because researchers have a moral responsibility to protect research participants from harm. So let's write this down. So the definition is the correct rules of conduct necessary when carrying out research. Alright, so now let's dive in deeper into the different types of ethical considerations. Alright, so the first type of ethical considerations that we're going to be discussing is informed consent. So informed consent. So participation in a study must actually be voluntary, and the participants must fully understand the nature of their involvement, which involves the aim of the study, when and what tasks they will be exposed to, and how the data will be used. And the researcher should provide as much information as possible in the clearest way, which is why it's called informed consent. So basically, informed consent means that the researchers must tell the participant clearly of what the research is about and what are they actually measuring. So that's right. Participants must fully understand the nature of their involvement. So as said before, this may be understanding the aims of the study and what will they be exposed to in the study. And the researchers should provide as maximum amount of information as they can. And participation must be voluntary in the study. Also, if a participation is a minor, in fact, consent should be obtained from their parents or their legal guardians. Alright. So an example of this might be a consent form where a participant must read through the true aim of the study and what the study is actually about, and sign the study and that they'll approve of this method of experiment. Alright, let's move on to another type of ethical consideration, which is protection from harm. So, at all times during a study, participants must be protected from any type of damage and harm that could be done to them. This could either be physical or mental, which is psychological harm. So let's write this down. harm can be either physical or mental. And this actually can include possible negative long-term consequences of participating in a study. Alright, so now let's move on to the third type of ethical consideration, which is anonymity and confidentiality. So, typically, a participation in a research study must be confidential. So let's write this down. Participation in a research study is confidential. So an example of this may be, like, if there is someone, like let's say a researcher named Bob, who can connect the results of the study to the identity of a particular participant. But terms of agreement may prevent this person from sharing this data from anyone. So the participant may remain anonymous in the study. So basically, the participant is able to provide personal data, but the data must stay confidential under the research agreement. And participation in a study is anonymous if no one can trace the results back to a participant's identity. And this can be because no personal details have been provided when, for example, filling out an online survey without providing your name or your email. Alright, now let's move on to the fourth type of ethical consideration, which is withdrawal to participation. When a research study is typically conducted, it must be explicitly clear to the participants that since their participation is mainly voluntary, they are able to withdraw from the study at any time they want. So this may be, maybe for an example, maybe a person has a family emergency and they cannot participate in the study. They can actually just withdraw from the participation of the study. Free to withdraw. And also, the researchers must not prevent participants from withdrawing or trying to convince them to stay. So the researchers should not have any impact in the participants' decision to withdraw or not. Now let's move on to deception. And deception is either referring to lying or misinforming the participants about the true purpose of the study. And this type of ethical consideration should be actually avoided, but some experiments fail to morally dismiss the usage of deception. And usually the true aim of the study actually cannot be revealed to participants, so a degree of deception may be necessary in typical experiments. And the researchers must be careful if deception is used to keep it at the bare minimum. Alright, now let's move on to the last ethical consideration, which is debriefing. So after a study, participants must be fully informed about the nature of the study and what the study was aiming to do. Participants must be fully informed about its study's true nature, aims, and how the data will be used / stored. And also, they must be given an opportunity to review the results and an opportunity to withdraw the data if they want to. And if deception was used previously, it must be reviewed during the debriefing. So these are the ethical issues that we discussed today. And thank you for listening to my third lecture of IB psychology, and I hope you guys enjoyed it thus far. There'll be worksheets that you can work on to further develop your knowledge of ethical issues and considerations, so please check out our website for more worksheets and more preparation for your IB exams. Thank you so much, and have a good day.